can I see hands, who is unwilling tonight to pledge your support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party? Raise your hand now if you won't make that pledge tonight. Mr. Trump.
Now, here's the irony. The presumptive GOP nominee was the only candidate who raised his hand at that first debate. But since then, both Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham have voiced that they will not get behind Donald Trump for president. So will the anti-Trump crowd eventually get behind him? Here now is Herman Cain, former Republican presidential candidate and a Fox News contributor, I'm happy to say. Herman, let's start with that pledge. You have both Lindsey Graham and Jeb Bush and some others breaking the pledge, now saying they won't vote for Donald Trump. What do you make of that?
This is why voters don't trust establishment politicians. They made the pledge, and then they badgered Trump into taking the pledge. He did, and they never expected him to get the nomination or to become the presumptive nominee. Now, all of a sudden, they don't want to support the presumptive nominee. That's what's wrong with the establishment, people. And basically, this is playing out to basically expose them for their hypocrisy.
Well, they say, hold on a second, Herman, they say that it is ideology, that ideology and the principles of the conservative principles that they support are more important than than anybody's ego. Do you think it is ideology or do you think it is ego?
Ideology, my foot. It is ego. I mean, there have been Republican presidential candidates that a lot of conservatives have had to hold their nose in order to vote for. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to claim it's ideology. David, I believe it is purely ego that's standing in the way because they can't control Donald Trump.
Right.
They don't know what to expect from Donald Trump. He is a wild card, quote unquote, relative to how candidates normally act. They don't like that. But the American people, the voters are saying they want to get behind this guy who potentially will shake things up.
Well, the only president I can think of who kind of downplayed the whole ego issue was Ronald Reagan. He had that famous sign at his desk, there's no limit to what you can do if you don't care who gets credit for it. Now everybody wants all the credit and none of the blame. How do you get ego out of politics?
Give it some time. I think it's going to take a little time in order for some of these people who are basically running off of their ego to get over this, that in fact the voice of the voters has spoken, and they are in denial of what the voice of the voters want. They want a Donald Trump in the Republican Party. I think after they start recognizing that the top of the ticket could possibly become an asset instead of a liability, and they want to get reelected because a lot of them are running for reelection, I think they will warm up to the idea that Trump is the presumptive nominee, and he will be the nominee for the Republican Party.
I think you hit it on that last point. I mean, that's the only thing that politicians seem to care about is getting reelected. But I got to ask one final question. Tomorrow, Paul Ryan meets with Donald Trump. Will Trump seal the deal to get Ryan on his side and endorse him?
I am cautiously optimistic that the results of the meeting will be very positive, and here's why. If they focus on the big issues and solutions that they have in common, it's not going to be about ego or ideology. I don't know if Trump is going to seal the deal, but I do suspect that Paul Ryan and Reince Priebus will come out of that meeting saying it was very positive, they made a whole lot of progress. Now, don't expect the word endorsement. He doesn't have to endorse Donald Trump. All he has to do is to say, we are moving towards supporting the nominee, and I'll tell you, the headline would be, if he says it, that he's ready to support Donald Trump and that the party should get behind him. That's more than I expect tomorrow, but I do expect it down the road.
Herman Cain, great to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.